that change your tire in no time. With our state-of-the-art diagnosing machine, we know exactly what's wrong with your car. No guessing. Our tow service is one of its kind. Tow your car for a reasonable amount if we won't fix your car. And for free if AutoMeds will service your car. Our prices are unbeatable and our customer service is outstanding. So whatever your cars need, call AutoMeds Garage on Gerda Street, opposite the Old Jenna Ministry on 0555-535-307 or 0777-884-077. AutoMeds Garage. We care for your cars.
I become a vessel for my happiness.
Cried yourself to sleep. I know, lonely under these sheets. Cause you've tried.
Monrovia, the tattoo is sitting on a hill.
Through a field of green, but it's overgrown. If it all came true, when you've seen it all through, you look back at the footprints on the path. Where does that leave you? Can you be still? There's a void on the side.
This is classical music for the classical minds, the very, very classical minds, you know.
Where does that leave you?
The kind of music, not cherry music.
Can you be still?
Children like blessing is not their music. You know, these millennials is not their music. It's for men and women.
Can you be still? There's a void only silence can fill. Where you are, it's all that's real. When you're there, remember how it feels. Ooh, alone in your city on the hill. Ooh, alone in your city on a hill. Who do you have left when it all goes bad? Who is by your side when the fire subsides and it rains in your...
When the big boy is singing to the big girl, that's what we're talking about here. You know what I mean? Cry yourself to sleep, I know, lonely under the sheets, because you've tried to make yourself sing through a field of green, but it's overgrown. If it all came true when you've seen it all through, you look back at the footprints on the path, where does that leave you? Can you be still?
Who do you have left
Who do you have left?
when it all goes bad?
Who is by your side
Who is by your side
when the fire
when the
subsides
fire subsides
and it rains in your head?
in your head?
Ah, did you leave your
Did you
mark?
leave your mark? Can they catch your spark? Did you trade your torch for silver fork and a life in the dark?
Can you be still? Let's go.
Can
You be still.
There's a voice only silence can feel. Where you are, it's all that's real. When you're there, remember how it feels.
Ah, can you be still? There's a void only silence can fill. Where you are is all that's real, you know? You know, when you're there, remember how it feels alone in your city on a hill.
Where you are, it's all that's real.
I don't know whether my guest is a lover of music, especially this kind.
Alone in your city on the hill. Alone in your city on the hill. Alone in your city on the hill. Alone in your city
Yes, indeed, City on the Hill. He calls himself Monrovia, but he's Janje. You know, that's the only name you find for him. But I mean, he's a Liberian, but he fled the war, grew up there in the U.S. So he's an Appalachian singer, you know, country western kind of music. He makes tours. The guy makes tours. I think he has 1 million followers on Facebook and all that. So yeah. Okay, we have with us Josh Lobo. Josh, welcome.
Good afternoon. Good to be here, Judas.
You're always smiling. You're always in zeal.
Judas, I've always said to you, I've always worked in sales. I've always been a business person, so it's always good to keep a smile on your face.
Yeah,
And it's just
I think I need to practice that. People think that I'm frowning, but
Life
I
is
don't.
too short. Don't make it too serious.
I really am not frowning, but it's like my face is usually serious, so I need to practice that. Are you into music?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, I do.
Do you like the type I just played?
It was a nice song. I listened to some Don Williams. So nice.
Okay. What is a favorite Don Williams song?
Country Boy.
Just sing a bit. Let me join you because I know I used to follow a whole lot of.
Say I ain't gonna marry
Marry in the snow, ain't gonna marry in the fall. Because a
I'm in
country
love
with
with
a
a pretty
little
little
girl who wears a diamond ring. But
I
I'm
am
just
just
a country boy. Money
Money
have I none.
but
Yeah,
I've got silver.
In the sky.
Go.
In the morning sun. Yeah, I can remember that one very well. Yeah, you know, so we were refugees in Ivory Coast, and they used to play these Don Williams songs on the radio. So I had to buy the cassette.
Yeah.
Those days it was cassette.
Yeah.
So I could just write the songs, listen and write the songs and all that. So yeah,
I listened to a lot
I
of
can
Don
remember
Williams
those
songs.
long ago.
So one time I will share you a joke. One night I was sitting with the president and he was playing Don Williams. And so I was singing. And so I was singing along. He said, "You're not that old to know this song. Where you come from?" I said, "But that's my song." I said, "My dad used to play this song." He said, "Hey, because I wanted to ask you."
Yeah. Okay. Now, George, you want to look at the performance of the government. You are an ash defender, a very staunch supporter of the government. So yeah, we have called you in. Let's see. What do you think is going right? Let's start with generally the overall leadership direction of the country before we come to specific areas.
So again, thanks for having me, Julius. I think personally, overall, if you look at the overall governance of the state, I think every single Liberian today, both home and abroad, can attest that indeed that stability, integrity, credibility has been brought back to the leadership we have under His Excellency President Joseph Boakai.
Was it lost?
Yeah, Judas, for some time in this country, where people, the level of accountability, the level of productivity now in government, people showing up to work, the discipline, things that were lacking, having a commander-in-chief, one who took action, one who was making sure that he was holding his lieutenants, his ministers, his directors accountable. There's now fear that if you do not do the right thing, that we have a leader in the executive mansion who takes action. And not only that, even on the world stage today, Liberia now has its spot. And in terms of the recognition we've gained over the last 2 years, this is all accredited to the able leadership of His Excellency President Boakai. Now, when we look at governance, Judas, again, I like to always come to this conversation trying to be as fair and as balanced as possible. I've always said we may not build Yokohama over the next 4 years, but every single Liberian now can attest that indeed that President Boakai is steering the ship in the right directions. And the actions that he's taking, whether now or in the long term, we all can see that indeed this country, the promise we made, I recall when I was in the studio back in 2023, when I said that we'll replace the CDC government and we'll move Liberia to a different level. We'll deliver on so many different fronts in terms of service delivery and promises to the Liberian people in lifting up the quality of life. I think it is glaring now that those measures are being taken. So as you said, when we get to those specific different sectors, the gains we are making, the strides in those areas, then the people can look at it. But from a holistic point of view, I think our government is on course. And Julius, I think every single Liberian is now proud of the government they have in it. Have been
Well, that would be a glittering generality to say every single Liberian is now proud. There are issues with different officials, what they do, their deportment on social media, their responses to people, the harshness, sometimes the insult trading and all those kinds of things. You see them. I'm not sure that's something to be proud of.
Judas, when we say every single Liberian will be proud, let me be very clear with you. Even at the great United Nations, that is expected that all its staff across the globe should be held by certain standard. Things do happen. There are attributions of some of their staffers that bring certain backlash to the institution. We've seen that with every single government. But when I say Liberians should be proud, the overall governance of the state, knowing that they have a president, one who cares deeply, passionately about making sure that this country does not remain the same way in which he inherited it. That's what I'm talking about. Now, we can speak to those isolated cases, but I would say this, Julius. Again, I like the Liberian, man. Even there's 10 good, one bad is still bad. So I understand these things. We're not saying this should happen, but I like to be as fair as possible. But Julius, overall, again, I want to be very, very clear. Overall, our government is doing extremely well, and every single Liberian should be proud of what they have in executive mansion as president.
There are those who think the president is not really in control. That it could be others actually running the show. You have been around. What do you say to that?
Anybody who said that, I would say, again, while it's true, I like to respect people's opinion, but again, that's a myth. Then that's far from reality. I'll tell you, Judas, the good thing about it, like you say, I've had a privilege and opportunity, extremely blessed to sit by the president. I've seen the president sit up until 2 in the morning signing papers. I've seen the president read every single report. This is why any single Liberian who visited the president's office or who've gone, whether it's his office at his house or in the executive mansion, Judas, you will see piles and piles of file. This president is someone who is involved actively. You see that even with his cabinet meetings, and this is why I think in the last 2 years he has called more than 4 to 5 different cabinet meetings. It speaks to the president being in control. Not like we can go back and forth. So those who say that the president is not in control again, I mean, I can't dwell in the hearsay, they say. I tend to respect people's opinion to express themselves. But I can say this with all certainty. President Joseph Boakai is the one in charge of this government. He's the one steering the affairs of the country.
Is he energetic?
Look, listen, Julius, I'll tell you, I'll share a joke with you. The other day, I recall, I saw the president about, if I'm exact, around 8:30, 9 in the morning. President walked in his office at the house, didn't come out until around 10 something. Had 3 quick meetings. After this meeting, he went to breakfast. After breakfast, he went to another meeting. The president was in a couple of meetings up until 3, 4, 5. So again, until I remember it was around 4:30. Imagine after waking up at 8 something, 4:30, and you know the president don't go to bed early. That's not who he is. He stays up very, very late. He goes to bed. If he goes to bed soon, that means somewhere around 12, 1. But he's always up reading. And then to be up that early again, and then take meetings upon meetings, meetings upon meetings. So the issue of his energy, sometimes myself get concerned, because I'll tell you, Julius, I mean, I've worked in some of the most intense environments. There are times where I took coffee breaks, and I used to have 2 breaks and 1 lunch and things like that. But this is someone who, he's just sitting there for one meeting after another. And sometimes someone would say, Mr. President, he would say, who's there to see me? They say, this person. He said, oh, I was about to go. He said, no, but let the person come. While he's there, then someone comes in. And Julius, I'll tell you, he enters the executive mansion. When was the last time you recall President Boakai at the executive mansion, you heard the siren of him leaving the office to go somewhere? No. He sits there, he takes meetings upon meetings upon meetings upon meetings. I think the issue of his energy is something that we can't question at this particular point in time, because the president is energetic, he's hardworking. This is why many Liberians can attest to the time the president shows up to work and when he goes home from work. You don't see the president leave the office or go for lunch anywhere, because this man is hardly, very, very focused and busy on the work, doing the work of the Liberian people.
But
So
before we move to the other things, does he? And I'm doing as much as possible to be in the best respectful way to ask the question so that it's not taken out of context.
Yeah.
Does he remember, like, if he said, by this time, if you don't do this, I'll take this action? Does he remember to do it, or does he need to be reminded? I'm asking because sometimes people think at his age, people at that age, senility starts to creep in, and those kinds of things. So, in terms of retentiveness, is he that alert?
Judas. So I don't like to use other people. Let me use myself. So let's assume if I saw the president today and during our conversation, I said, Mr. President, on this day, I would say this and this and this and that. You'll be surprised if 2-3 days passes by and he sees me. The first thing would be, I thought we said this, Josh. What happened? Yeah. No one should, I'll tell you. And I always tell people, I say, whenever you see him laying back and looking at you, the president is more attentive at that moment than ever before. Yeah. And so for me, having been there, like sometimes I will walk in there to see him, and the president will be telling me stuff that I'm like, oh wow, he's still thinking about this. This is something he said in 2023. I recall when we were in Minnesota, we were in this hotel, we were at this place, when he said he was going to do this in terms of if he won the election. Like some days he goes there, he said, George, remember I told you I want to get every county laid out this way. I want to get the superintendents and this and that. Those the things he used to tell me during the time we were in the campaign mode, every single time I have an opportunity to say with the president, Julius, the president is still holding on to those words and what he wants to make this country to be like. And he talk about, I remember one time, Julius, when I came to this country, it was back in 2021. And I had gone to him and I told him, I say, I was confused. I didn't know, I've been out of Liberia over 16 years coming back to the country, that you would park a car and someone would just show up and wash the car. I didn't understand that. And just coming from the States. So I went to him, I was telling him, and he said, George, let me tell you what that says. I said, what is it? He said, it tells you that those young men you see washing your car, that if they have opportunities to do something, they are willing to go there. So the fact that they are willing to come and do it without even asking you, it tells you that those young people, they are determined. And this is what he said, George, we have to work towards creating opportunity for young people. So every time I hear the president now speak and talk about the need for job creation and creating opportunity for young people and wanting to empower young people, it tells me that the president is still going back to the things he said back then when we were still chasing power. So, in terms of him being retentive, the president is sharp, he's alert. And you can see that, Judas, in all of his performances when he's out there, when he's on the international stage, our president is engaging, he's participating with other world leaders, and his role is very, very clear. And this is why today, some of the benefits we are enjoying now as a country, it is the result of the leadership that the president is demonstrating across the world.
His name is George Lobo. We have him here. Foreign affairs, what do you think? Are they doing well? Our poll here showed that they won the Minister of the Year stuff. But tell us, what's positive about what they're doing?
Julius, I would be wrong if I didn't take this opportunity to give credit to the Honorable Sarah Beslow Yanti, our hardworking Foreign Affairs Minister. Under her leadership, she has been able to steer, to drive President Boubacar foreign policy agenda to the world. And not only that, ranging from the different successes we've been able to, we've made as a country. Madam Sarah Beslow Yanti, you all know, one of the biggest accomplishments of her regime, apart from other things she's done. But let's look at some of the bilateral agreements and MOU she's been able to sign on behalf of the country. Some of the relationships she's established, some of the ones that were damaged that she's been able to repair. Today, Liberian passports are no longer in the hands of drug law or drug cartel or criminals against. Liberia's image on the world stage has been highly respected, and her involvement is at the highest level of diplomacy. And look, to cap her accomplishment, if we look at our recent victory with the non-permanency at the UN Security Council, that again speaks to the engagement, the involvement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And overall, across, there are now, Liberia is now opening embassies in areas that we never had, looking into potential new friendship. These things matter because, Julius, the more you have, the better it is for you. These are things that could create opportunities for the citizens. And so, for me, foreign affairs has been one of the brightest spot, of our administration, and we have to thank the folks there at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for doing a phenomenal job.
Well, there were issues with the whole Nicotech thing. There were issues with some people who were placed before had to be called back, and all of that. Sometimes there are issues with different embassies, or things that happen with Liberians in different countries. The case with India, the issue of the student who was, in terms of the kind of representation that is needed, do you think they were able to also deliver on that front better?
Look, Julius, let me say this to you. In as much as you strive to do better, there will always be one or two gray areas where things will always happen. It does not mean that everything is bad. We can point out those things. I think this is why we continue to take the necessary steps to correct those things and then do better on them. But we have to look at the overall performance of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, you can point out those isolated cases. There's one or two instances. Those were issues. I think they've done their job. Again, Julius, we're 2 years into the administration. Given where we came from, this Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what it was previously, we don't want to be relitigating the past, because who sent people on diplomatic mission, training them for 2, 3, 4, 5 months? Some of them even had to, because the Ministry of Foreign Affairs did not have the money, people paid their own way and things like that. Now the government has to. So we will not relitigate the past as far as I'm concerned. And I will say this, the government has owned up to it. They will solve those problems and they will move forward. Again, my wish is that, Julius, in as much as we strive to do better. Again, there will always be areas for improvement, and those are some of those things we have to take and move on from there.
One of the challenging sectors for developing countries is education. And of course, it has been quite a big challenge for the country. I've not heard much there since the administration came to power. Yeah, schools being built and all of that. But in terms of something radically or dramatically different, I don't know. I may be wrong.
Okay.
What is different?
So
what is happening there?
So a couple of things. And this is one very interesting thing, Julius. I was privileged and very fortunate to tour with the Minister of Education upon taking office, tour the entire country with Dr. Jazo Malin Jala. There she had gone to assess the educational infrastructure and to understand some of the challenges that were hampering education in this country. So, Julius, that in itself is a step in the right direction. That's step one. Today, what she's been able...
All of the ministers do that. Once they take over,
She was
they take a tour of the entire country assessing.
But
I was on some of those tours. So it is not strange.
You asked me about education. Let me finish. So I just want to start how we went. So not only that, what she's been able to do is, Julius, gone are those days where DEOs and CEOs were appointed based on party line. She was able to institute reforms and she got a private company that did the recruitment where tests were given, evaluations were done, and CEOs, DEOs were hired. Those are people who monitor education at the county level and at the district level. These things speaks to accountability and the new type of system that Dr. Jaso Malinjala intend to put in place. But not only that, Julius. When we go on the international front, Dr. Jaso Malinjala, again, the UNESCO office, she has now established the permanent mission at UNESCO in France. Somewhere where she argued that Liberia needed to be represented on the world stage. She's succeeded in doing that. Not only that, Julius, to say you've not seen much, under this leadership, under this government, the largest investment in education ever made since the settlers arrived on Providence Island was being done by this government, where we'll see the construction of 100 and some more new public schools, Julius. So again, not only that, under Dr. Jaso Malin's leadership, you saw some 2,000 teachers being brought onto the payroll. The issue of volunteer teachers that were blowing up this whole sky across the country. So the TVET area, she's talking about investment into the TVET, improving the TVET so that more teachers can be trained. She's now setting the new standard. The Ministry of Education today, if you read around Julius, there's a lot of regulations that's been put in place. This is why, in terms of holding schools accountable when it comes to graduation fee, she recently just launched the new system where people can now go online to obtain their school permits. And she also just launched recently a new e-learning platform for students across the country, from grade 1 to grade 3, where they will be able now to learn on radio and on the TV. That's a new project she just launched, and that is fully funded by the government through the PSRP.
I know that radio thing started ever since.
No.
Oh yeah, it did.
Hey, Judas,
it did
the
ever
content,
since.
When was they launched, Judas? How it started ever since? Show me. Can you bring forth?
I know that
one of the license that was done.
I hosted the likes of Latin Datong here, the likes of the exposement of the Ministry of Education, and they talk that radio thing here.
But
they
was
even
it
built
ever
it.
done? I'm not talking about a radio station. I'm talking about where she brought in international. She do have some international partners that from Ghana that she's working with. Now they're programming, Julius, where students are taught. It has been local. The content is locally produced, where they can talk about its numeracy and literacy from grade 1 to grade 3. So students across the country now will be able to learn on the radio. That's something she's launched. So in terms of education, Julia, a lot has been done.
A whole lot of public school teachers were reaching out to me about pay issues from October. Even the finance ministry admitted that there were some issues that they were not getting, I think, certain portion of their pay.
Okay.
From October, November to December.
Okay.
I don't know if that issue has been resolved now.
So,
but I know as at the end of December, it was still an issue.
Okay, so that is something that has to do with maybe it is true. It's education related, but again, I think the Ministry of Finance has been clear that it has made payments to all government employees. If it is something beyond that, then maybe there will be clarity provided. I can't sit there and lie and speculate as to where things stand. But as far as I'm concerned, Judas, so in the last 24 months, if you can reference 3 months that you think there were issues, maybe it could be some system issues, or maybe with regards to the bank being able to post their money. I think that has been resolved at this particular point in time. That I can say.
Those teachers are listening just in case they will reach out. The intent of this is to also talk about areas that we've not heard about much.
Yeah.
I hope the education minister can make herself available to come to these platforms too, so we hear from her directly. She is one person I don't know, but I'm not sure I've ever heard her. Yeah, I mean on a radio show and all of that.
Yeah, I think so.
Gender.
Wonderful. You know, I personally wanted I want to take this opportunity to thank the Minister of Gender, Minister Bemi.
But are you the one thanking everybody?
Yeah, because Judas, I'm thanking everybody, especially given the fact that I sat in this studio across from so many different folks here when we debated over and over that we will come to power and our government will do things differently, will do things better. And so those people who are charged with the authority to be able to help us fulfill those promises that I campaign on, I have to thank them when they do it. And so those ones who don't deliver them, we have to ask them to also step up. But Julius, let me say something. One thing I was very much impressed about, the president, and was very, very clear even during the campaign when we talk about the need to end children selling in the streets. And recently, I saw there was a press conference here at the Ministry of Justice where the Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Justice, the MCC, and some other people, where there were statements made where the government now bans child street selling. Julius, it will interest you to know that in the last 2 years under our leadership, this is something that don't get talked about too much. The Ministry of Gender, through the Child Street Project, has been able to remove...
But first of all, is that children selling in the street in effect now?
Yes, it is in effect.
But I see a whole lot of children
Because
still selling in the street. If it is in effect, then there should be the concomitant action going on.
Okay, so Judas again, this thing went into effect last month. I think it was around the 18th or the 16th, if I'm correct. So the task force is now out working. The other day, I saw the folks at what's it called, Duper Road, where the Duper Road Junction, they were there, and they go from different places. But Judas, let me give you a stat here today that the librarian, I think this is very important for librarians to know. In the last 2 years, 13,591 children have been removed from the street. Of this amount, 4,110 of them have been enrolled in schools. Not only that, the Ministry of Gender, through this project, have been able to train some 3,774 caregivers. When they say caregivers, those children who have been removed from the street, their parents have been trained to be able to provided them some grant proposals in terms of macro grant and train them in different areas and things like that, just to empower them. But Julius, let me say this. This is something that is going to continue. This is not something, it's not a one-off. This is a process. This is why Some of us now are saying that the Ministry of Gender, as she continues to reach out, all of you people have a part to play because we all want to make sure that these young children can go to school. We believe that this is the precious asset we do have. Not only that, the Ministry of Gender has also been involved in a relays project where it is also empowering women in the community, giving a small grant in terms of agriculture. I have seen testimonies of those women, and Julius, I will love, when I leave from here, I will share those videos with you so you can maybe down the line, you can that will be used for you to see where those women have been put into group. I have even a picture here where they produce, they're now producing beans. If they put them into smaller cluster where they're giving money, there's a project ongoing where they're supposed to be receiving $8,000 per group. The first $4,000 disbursement have been made, and the direct cash transfer that the Ministry of Gender has been involved in. The thing about
it's how they call that project. It is funded, I think, by some international group. That's been a long time.
Yeah,
project.
but again, Julius,
long time,
man,
ongoing.
One thing I love about my man Julius,
But it is not. It is not radical. It is something that has been happening. It is not different.
Julius, the fact that
it has been ongoing.
It's been ongoing, but Julius, we have to look at the beneficiaries. How many people is it impacting? You know the reason why. I'm taking it.
Perhaps it could be like, okay, it used to be at this level. Government is adding this there to improve.
But that's what we're doing because it's not only that.
That would be the radical shift.
Yeah, but that's what we're doing. So, like for example, the Street Child Project, where we've been able to take 13,591 children off the street. What does that mean?
And then put them where?
I just gave you the number.
What is the follow up to kind of ensure that they don't go back?
Man, Julius, you can't be asking me all the questions.
Oh no, I should.
The follow up is there. Listen to what happened. The Ministry of Gender does have a caregiver. They do have their case workers that are following up. How do you think we have the data today? They are following up those children that are in school. The Ministry of Education, I know, provided a backpack the other time where those children. These things don't get talked about, and the reason why I saw this very important because when we talk about the ordinary people. These are the ordinary people that their lives are being impacted by this government. And these are things that don't get reported. Work being done by the Ministry of Gender, those things
they should be encouraged to come and talk. No one stops them.
For me, it's important to me because the argument that I made here in 2023 was that my government that will come to power will make lives better. And I'm glad that I can be proud to sit here now that I have a Ministry of Gender that is out there, that is impacting lives.
It means you care a whole lot for the information to be out there.
Yeah, I do.
For people to know what is happening.
Because we are changing lives.
It is upon the ministry too to ensure that sometimes you bring some of these beneficiaries out.
Absolutely. And
let us hear their stories.
But I agree with you. You're right. They should. I think this is something, I think you're absolutely right. I think the ministry should be more engaging in putting out this information because, Julius, some of the stories are heart-touching. And when I sit back and I hear people say, how are we lifting people out of poverty? What are we doing to change the ordinary people's life? I think this is something that's important to me. Another ministry that I don't get talked about, Julius, which I want to just go to real quick. The Ministry of Post and Telecommunications.
That is where I was taking you.
Okay.
Post and Telecommunications.
No one hears about Ministry of Post and Telecommunications.
Except it is some controversy, like the controversies that came from there before.
You see,
what is the positive thing that they're
So Julius,
what are they doing?
I will just start right now. Are you aware that the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication in 2025 hired 120 young people to carry out their postal address or project that they've started? They are now putting numbers on the houses that will be used for address purposes. I think there's somewhere in the rehab area, somewhere there that they started off with the test. Now, those 120%, I think they said the Ministry of Post intend this year to hire anywhere between 250 to additional 350% or even more, that they will expand that project. Because what the Ministry of Post is trying to do is to make sure that homes will now have addresses, and so that even if someone come into the country now, you can be able to, at RIA, you'll be able to give someone your address and they can be able to link up there. What does that do for the government? That also enhances our revenue generation capacity. These are positive things, but not only that. Let's look at the digital village in Foya, that is there. That project is a pilot project to test the ability that will allow teachers to be able to sit in Monrovia and teach students in Foya. these are positive things that don't get highlighted. They don't get talked about. And recently, you remember when Donald Trump brought out the issue of tariff? Many of our Liberians, they do trade. Some Liberians, what they're doing for themselves is that they send things to relatives in the States to get sold for them and things like that. The issue of the tariff, that thing brought a serious problem to that. The Ministry of Posts had to shut it down. Recently, it was announced there was a press statement, I think as of January 5th, the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunication met all the requirements. It has resumed direct shipping to the United States. But not only that, the Ministry of Posts also, they are now working on a second project which they secure through the World Bank, that there will be the arrival of a second cable in Buchanan. Are you aware of that? That second cable is to enhance connectivity, and that cable is also going to facilitate the construction of what they're referring to as the Liberia, what's it called? Their data center, similar to something like that. So these things enhances connectivity. And my thing about it is that I think our government and those ministries, because the Ministry of Information is trying extremely, she can only put out what she has. And I think almost every, because as far as I'm concerned, I know that every ministry do have a public relations department. I think it is how they coordinate with you guys to make sure that these informations are brought out to the public. Because I've said this before, I know that we are doing a lot as a government, but it's just that many people don't know.
LTA is also in that bracket?
Yeah, LTA is doing very well because under the leadership of Clarence Massaquoi, the entire team, local connectivity is something that they're working on, building new towers as far in Lo-Fi and other parts of the area.
Yeah, I have seen them doing different posts about that.
Very well.
Yeah,
So again, those are things, all those things. So when people say, what are we doing to address the issues of improving our people's life? These are things that the government promised to do. Then these are things that show that the government is taking steps in the right direction.
Others say they are things that they are the regular things.
What you call regular things?
But people, why you call it was not done before? You didn't do it. But people been building towers in different places. It's just that if a government isn't there, another government comes, they're also going to build towers in places that will not have
so
towers.
Since you didn't do it, on our government, we prioritize
others
local
built
connectivity.
some, but couldn't build all. The same way you are also building some.
The speed, the rate at which we are working, Julius, is exceptional. And I think the Liberian people, they themselves can attest to that. Now, look, we are doing extremely well on those.
I will have to bring you back next week for the other two.
I will look forward to that. Extremely,
plus other things.
Plus some other things, especially the economy and some other things.
Yeah, I want more interactions
with the public.
There are some things that you said, and I want people to be honest. For example, in the gender ministry thing, taking children off the street, if your child perhaps benefited from that or whatsoever, it is important for you to let us know.
And Judas, I think I do have some videos and things. If you want, I can share them with you from families and things, so testimony to that. Because I am not here to just speak. I like to make sure that the facts unveil themselves, and so that if you do want it, I'll be more than happy to send them your way.
So let us just take the course.
Yeah.
And as we'll bring him back to talk the budget, the economy, revenue, job creation, and LEC.
I look forward to that.
We will talk those matters, but let's take some calls. 777-700-995, 555. Okay, just use a 777 number because this 555.
The number is 777.
Why you?
I like to keep it because myself I want it one day. Because something I want to
you want send it?
No, okay, so I can call you.
777-700-995. Yeah, he wants to send it on a group chat so that man can jam the line. 777-700-995. Ready? You can send it there, no problem. 777-700-995. Let's take Assistant Minister Rahim Billet, the man who chilled for me since last year, but no problem. Welcome. No, and that's what we're talking about. Hello,
but Julius, this is 2026, and George, my good friend, is in the studio. Why you don't want George to talk about our roads?
No, next week. But we wait. No, first of all, Rahim. Hello, Rahim. Wait now, Rahim. There are places we've not talked about a lot, so I felt it was important to ask some questions about those areas.
Started on the low to and then continue on the high side, right?
Yeah, that's just how we do.
Road, energy, water, the economy, the jobs, those are high
next
side.
week we will deal with those ones.
But Julius, I don't know whether you visited Douala and the St. Paul Beach corridor since this year.
No, I haven't.
but you need to try to see.
I am very careless right now, so I can watch my movements.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
trying to see what we can get you a car.
Look
You
at
know,
look at look at it, be my man. I beg you, man.
Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year.
Okay, many happy returns. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius,
Yeah.
my name is Daniel Fitty, and I call you from the Mosquito Lodge district number 10.
Oh.
Well, Julius, let me appreciate the General Institute that George Lobo. You cannot hide the good work of, a president who is assiduously trying to make this country, better. You cannot hide it. Because you check around, there are many developments showing up that are making the opposition confused. And I want to tell you this. George Lobo will be one of those who we will hail because he wants to see development as well. And this president will stand for development, and everybody will see it. They will not go look for any bad news in the bush because it is visible. Thank you very much, Julius.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon to my Allah and Meto. In George Lobo. My name is Sogu Fofana, member of United Party Intellectual Bureau and do committee the evening. Let me say, because George, I don't have nothing for you. I just want court to comment you because the good way is not hurting. They're not hurting at all. So, what I will only tell Liberian people, our president already tell us is, nobody will think on what future will be or turn it to the now. But for me, you ask a group of that 24 years we're going for. You can mark it in your book to the 24
Man, the
years.
same way the other post started with 24, then it started coming down to 12, and it ended up being said so. You starting your own.
Don't compare with that people. We are not the same. I was
okay.
very sorry for the people I'm saying. Early went for 12 years.
Okay.
Early went for 12 years. So we now competing with that. But that vote that they are failure. You were in a classroom for 12 years. They teach you. You not learn nothing. Then you mess up everything. They take you from there. So
Okay.
don't compare with that people. So
Thanks so kindly as well. Welcome. Let's go international. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Julius, and good afternoon to George Frank Gibson. I call from Paris.
Go ahead, Frank.
Julius, this is a very good news, so I want to encourage everybody in the 15 counties around Monrovia, all those families whose children are not in school, to bring them to Monrovia. Julius, you guys have to put that on the radio. You make announcement every day.
What, that you the who to tell the mayor announcement that you the government?
No, because that's a very good news. That will even tell Clarence. Even we have to pay for the announcement every now and then, every 2 hours. They should play the jingle with it. A very good. But on the issue of the schools.
To bring them to Monrovia for what?
To carry them to the gender ministry. They're clearing the children out of the street now because Joseph Barker said in 6 months, which are going to be selling the street.
Okay.
So the government want to turn that around, so they have to carry them to the gender ministry. That's a very good news. Josh is reviewed in the studio. On the issue of the, what are you laughing for now?
But you know what it means to take all the children from the country and bring them to Monrovia. You can see her problem.
On the issue of the schools, Julian, you hosted the former deputy education minister over there, and he talks about the 300 schools that George and the finance minister is talking about. Minister Sony talks about the 300 schools that the government of Liberia needed to build. That the finance minister and George is talking about. So I don't think this is a new project, and we have seen some of those schools that have already been built and completed.
Okay.
It started from the CDC government and it's been rolled into the government. Why are they making it like it is a new project that they are trying to bring up?
Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's remain international. Go to the U.S. From France to the U.S. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning to you and good afternoon. Good morning to my end and good afternoon to you, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon to George. My name is Jacob Cousin. I call from North Dakota, USA. George, you're doing a lot of PRO, that's good, but I think that PRO, you need to do it more effectively. What do I mean? Because one thing in a while you come, okay, and then you talk, okay, you go. Today you see what's happening now to our brothers. You get one young man who did not even benefit from the entire TV system, you wait till you left passing around in the street. Say, Jerry, because we are project. Wait till you left, the other day, when you somewhere great to them. So, more especially that social system issue you're talking about. You live in the USA, you have no, you know why it means to have a social system. That millions of dollars you're going to generate from hustle. So, if that social system is true, that people are start normal in the houses, and if it's going to work, it's a big boost to the economy because I know how many money people are going to generate. Even just carry one letter, or people collect one letter, we know how much we pay for a year. And to getting rid of the children from the street, that's a good project. But after you call it BP number, and sometimes we say seeing people in the kids in the street, much better with disabled people out there, and these are their daughters. So I don't know where you're keeping the children from and where part of the place you're getting. I don't know, but
Okay.
I think that number is causing too much and we need to do more on the street.
Okay.
Because what I'm seeing on the street, that number is too high.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's take more calls. Then we'll come back to him. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Albert Critical Mo calling from District 13. Yeah, Julius, let me say a good day to you for bringing Josh in the studio so that Liberian people can know that there are real people in Liberia that can, stand for defending their salary. It is bad to hear Josh talking about and gender when we have our children that were raped, many girls' children raped in this country, and certain people say the other man DNA test has to be taken before you go face justice. The other people say no, when you poor man you go straight. Just forget to talk about that one when it comes to gender and the rights of women issue. When it comes to development, nothing. Now, when the black man will talk about development in Liberia, we say, oh, development in Liberia, we're not seeing it. Now, people are all I can see, we passing out there, we're seeing the thing happening in Liberia. They say somebody developing Liberia. Where? We don't know about development in Foya. So, Josh, you need to do something that will embarrassing, not to come to the hospital and be sweating.
So you don't believe that gender has taken steps to take some children from the streets? You don't believe that this postal system, the numbering and all of that is ongoing?
Julia, if Joy is telling me that, telling Liberian people that children have been removed from the street, I'm telling you, just get out of the studio now and get down Joseph Street Road. Just get there, you'll see the amount of children selling biscuits, candy, and the different things we're talking about. Why can you be telling the people like the Liberian people the truth that affect them? Therefore, you to come out because you want to defend salary.
No, but
that's not good.
But George is not working. I don't know him to be employed anywhere else, so I don't think he's defending salary.
Joy is on the one they call special salary. He knows.
They get special salary in government.
NSA salary.
No, I beg you, do that. No, that other one. Because at the same line, people put on some others. So I'm very careful when people try to. Yeah, you can critique, you can disagree with someone, but I think we have. Oh, he on payroll. People they can't find a payroll where people can be on. No, that kind of thing is not fair. Yeah, you can disagree with the man, but those kind of accusations, I can get evidence for.
Yeah, good afternoon, Julius.
Go ahead, let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Jerry John Travers, and I phone you for my HQ residence. First of all, let me register my date appointment in you, Julius, for the conversation this afternoon. It is very weak. I think you allow George Lobo to have his will. This is a senior man who went in studio. I can remember the last time he in Tier 1 exposing for lying to the Liberian people. You know, they call it really such a good point where the former minister of Bill McGill, he was caught in the allegation of rape, right? And then there's a gentleman from the other side too, layman, who also had the allegation of rape. But what happened? You took that man, you sent him in South Beach. What happened?
So yeah, we understand that one. So the issues that we talked about, what question they I need to ask that I did not ask for which I allow him to have his will.
Let me. I follow the conversation every day, and I know how you can post critical questions.
Now, I'm asking now, which one I was supposed to ask?
If you want to conduct an interview, I think you should bring someone from the other side to balance the argument.
No, but that's not how it will always be. But thanks so kindly. I said, which question I need to ask? You know, you're so used to the rough without talking. Once you talking rough, then people think you asking critical questions. But ask critical questions. Yeah. Welcome. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. Again, I'm Nathan S. Bianca. I call for the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication as Public Relations Officer. So I like when a big brother talk about the ministry is there. We want to hear the controversy. But one thing we like to probably boast of that other countries do have as of now is the first ever forensic lab. Of course, over $500,000 because that's going to help us with technical and police investigation when it comes to having access to forensic information and other stuff. No need for us to go to America and pay for people that can't do forensic investigation. We already have a forensic lab, and it is the first of its kind. Guinea, Africa, Nigeria, they do have forensic lab. So we want to give a credit to us for having the first ever forensic lab on our administration. So that's just what I want to make clear so that the public can get that information clear.
Okay. Thanks so kindly as well for your call. Let's squeeze in this final one. This is somebody from the Ministry of Gender. I think the Chief of Staff to the Minister also. Mafia David, am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
If you didn't put Parliament now, so you're right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just the issue of the incidence of children in the street, that is not something that we need anybody to come around and say, take picture. You can get on the street and you will know that we don't have children on the street. Yeah, there'll be splinters of them here and there around the streets. And besides us even having children off the street by means of coaxing them and cajoling them off the street to ensure that they go back to school, we have now signed a memorandum of understanding with the PCC, the MCC, LMP, Minister of Justice, Minister of Labor, and they are all, so it's a whole government approach. So let's look around. And if you don't want to tell that we are doing well to take kids off the street, and where are the parents? But yet, it's still a social protection issue, and we are all up on it. And within the next 6 months, there will be no incident of children on the street. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks so kindly as well. I hope you can encourage your minister to also come so that we, let the public know what they are doing. I can remember in the past we used to talk these things. Oh, certain ministries, certain agencies. No way you could not hear the people coming out. They were not coming out. Today, George, you come back to the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, so Julius, I just want to thank all the callers. Those who agree and disagree with me. Again, at the end of the day, I understand. There's nothing I would say that would change your mind of certain friends of ours on the other side. But again, Julius, like I said, I'm glad that someone from the Ministry of Post called and someone from the Ministry of Gender called, and no one said what George said is not true. Julius, it's good that I brought these things to the public light. For people to know what is happening. And I just wanted to let people know. Most of the time when I'm in here, I'm talking about finance, I'm talking about public works, I'm talking about MPA. Yesterday you saw what happened with the $12 million that MPA being enrolled in that program and things like that. It speaks to the leadership of Sekou Dukle and what the guys are doing there. LTA, other areas, LPRC. Today I didn't talk about LPRC. Water and sewer, for example, I didn't even talk about addressing the issue, the sewage. They now announced that I think you read that announcement of what has happened. I left our water and sewer. Julius, I think, like I said, next time we need more time to talk about some of these areas from a holistic point of view. Listen, folks, no matter what we do, I expect these things to happen. Frank Gibson, this is new. Under this regime, Minister Gaffwan and that of the Education Minister, the legislature approved the financing agreement for the 100 schools. So it was nothing done before. I think when we call the radio, it is good that we be factual and let us bring some credibility to the conversation. There are places here, Julius, I will always own up to where my government needs to make improvement when there's need for improvements to be made. I don't have to lie about any of these things. And like I said, those who say they don't see development, I understand. But one good thing I do know, our gray sheet will come out when we come to 2029. But the Liberian people can attest to the performances of our government and the things we are doing.
Thanks so kindly. His name is Josh Lobo. No. That are you going to get to me? It is our time we're looking at. It is not your own. Thanks so kindly for being here. Next week we try to find time. So that's how we go. My name is Julius. Jerry Chokon is here tomorrow. We'll be here on Monday when we'll be hosting presidential hopeful Dr. Clarence Moneyback will also be here on Monday. That's how we go.